My name is Cassie and I'm the founder of Fatco, where we use these guys to make this stuff. Let me explain. At Fatco, we specialize in making natural and organic skin and body care products, many of which contain tallow. It's nutrient dense and healing. It's extremely high in vitamins A, D, K, and E, all super important for skin health. It's natural, it's healthy, and it's sustainable.
The fact that people are saying, oh yeah, when you're finals MVP, you are now the best player on the planet, to me, that makes no sense whatsoever. I don't care if it's a week, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? LeBron James. That's who y'all gotta start appreciating. And you gotta stop disrespecting this man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is Monday. Best way to start your week is by listening to the ugliest motherfucker on the internet. Welcome to Prideful Takes Podcast, May 2nd. I'm joined by the lovely Jay McLovin. I don't know if I told you, Jay. I have a list of people I want on my show. And as soon as I get them all on my show, Prideful Takes will cease to exist. The show will be over. You are another name I can, with pleasure, check off. I am now one step closer to ending this show. Jay, brother, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. I never realized this is the first time I think I've ever seen your show, the intro of the show, where you had short hair, and now I actually look like. Because I always wondered, well, what would Pride look like if his hair was short and not this big mushroom top? And I gotta say, man, I think you look better with the short hair, brother. I think that's just more you.
Oh, I definitely look way better with the short hair. Not even close. I definitely look way better. Sacrifices must be made. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a packed episode in store for you guys. I've been neglecting the MLB, which is unfair. So we're going to have some MLB talk. But of course, we need to capitalize on the headlines that is the NBA playoffs. So round 2 is underway. For those of you who have not been watching it, it's going to be Phoenix and the Dallas Mavericks, Golden State and Memphis, the Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Boston Celtics. What a time to be alive. What a time indeed. First team I want to talk about, Jay, or first game, Bucks at Celtics. That's the first game I want to talk to you about. We got Molly Wop game 1, 101-89. Depression. Okay, depression. Marcus Smart, they said he's going to be fine. He'll be able to play and all that stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Jay McLovin, game 1. What'd you think about it?
Yeah. I think it was a good game, honestly. The problem I thought for the Celtics was, what I noticed with the Celtics was your big two in Tatum and Brown. They just got out to a slow start, man. I think by the end of the first quarter, they had combined total of like 6 points between the two of them. I think they came alive a little bit in the second quarter. I think they finished up with like 23 points between the both of them. But I just think, it was a little too late for that team. Of course, then you had Marcus Smart, who got injured in it. So they had a lot of things going on. Even without Middleton there, the problem I thought with the Celtics was they really weren't able to penetrate the paint, I think, the way that they would have liked to. I thought the Bucks did a pretty good job forcing them to shoot on the outside and not so much let them come on the inside. And I thought that was the biggest thing. And I'm really kind of curious to see how well Celtics can come back. I mean, like I said, they lost by 1 point to 9, by 12 points, I believe is what they lost by. So, and again, man, Grace Allen, man, the guy just shows up, man. 50% shooting, 3 of 6. He only had 11 points, but when they call on him, he does well. And I think that's really what's fueling the Bucks right now is you have Giannis holding down the paint. But then they got, role players like Allen and Portis Jr. and so forth that are coming through on the clutch shots and keeping them, on the outside perimeter shooting well. And I think, when you can do that and then hold the Celtics defensively. And again, I think another problem is I think the Celtics have a hard time matching up size-wise with the Bucks. And I think they're going to have to play. I guess what I'm saying is if they're matching up size-wise with them, you're going to need Tatum and Brown to play really extremely good ball, and they can't come out slow again like they did in that first quarter if the Celtics want to have a shot at winning this series.
I 100% agree with you. But so I'm a Celtics fan, right? And I said Celtics in 6. I still believe we can do that. I'm not gonna dramatize game 1 because again, it is only game 1. There were some things that I did see that I did not like though. For example, like you said, it did like when both your superstars come out extremely slow and sluggish, and your two best players do not start off great. And the thing was, it was a relatively close game up until the 4th.
Yeah.
The
absolutely.
4th, and when Milwaukee went on a solid run, which ended up kind of putting us in a hole where we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. So I'm okay. We're down 0-1. It is what it is. I'm okay. I genuinely believe the Celtics can still get out of this. Because again, Jason Tatum only gave us 21 and Jaylen Brown only gave us 12. What's the likelihood of that happening again? I don't know. I don't know what the likelihood of both those guys doing that again will be. And again, this was them missing a lot of wide open shots. It was like they were wide open and they would miss it. Why? Everyone has a bad game here and there. I'm hoping it was just a bad game and now we can move on and be able to make sure that we can go ahead, make the proper adjustments. Because again, I trust this team to make the adjustments. I trust Ime to make the right call and just be like, all right, look, let's relax. Here's what we got to do. Boom, 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 whatever the case may be. But dude, I'm good right now. I'm still good. I got
a couple of questions. Now, my first question is, and again, and this is what I'm saying, the Celtics only won one quarter out of that whole game. They won the third quarter. Yes. But then they go into the fourth quarter and they only score like 19 points.
Yes.
And again, I wonder, obviously Smart was hurt during that time period. I think he was actually in the locker room for the majority of that fourth quarter. So that could have been a difference maker right there. Right. And again, he went to the locker room. I watched him, and he was limping at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. They showed him walking to the locker room. He was limping. He wasn't looking good. They say he's going to be fine game 4 or game 2. I don't, they can say all they want because they have to say that. Let's be honest. They want to keep the morale of the team up. They don't want to give the other team the advantage. They have to kind of say that. But realistically, how good do you think he's really going to be? And if he is, I know he's going to play. But at what percentage are we getting Marcus Smart? I'm telling you right now, I don't think he's at 100. So what percentage do you think you get Marcus Smart back?
Probably 70.
Yeah. And that's your best defensive player. So, okay, so let's take that. Let's say if he comes back at 70%, and that's your best defensive player. How is that going to impact game 2?
So it's going to impact it depending on one of two ways. Either A, you'd have to tell him, because compromise, he's not going to be able to do what he could do at 100%. So he's not going to be able to go and be the spark plug that we need offensively and to go defensively. So we're basically gonna ask him, pick one. We're gonna pick one. Like, are you gonna be out there and are you gonna want to focus on your offense or defense? I would prefer he focus on defense because that's his best thing. That's really what I would do.
Right.
So if you just look at it, everybody was horrible. Like as a team, we shot 33% from the floor. That's horrible. Like I don't know. Like shooting from the floor, 32% from the floor, unless you shoot 70% from the 3-point line, you're not gonna win. That's just the reality of this. You're not gonna win, no matter what. So, like I said, I think there was some wide open shots that we missed. I think there was, I think there was a lot of, dare I say, braggadociousness, where we just swept Brooklyn. We came in thinking Milwaukee would be a breeze. That could be also something that I think we got to take that into consideration. This team truly was feeling themselves. I mean, think about it. Head into the playoffs, the Celtics were real quiet. All of a sudden, you got Ime saying we're not track stars. We're not running from nobody. Marcus Smart saying we could beat everybody. Like everyone, like they swept Brooklyn. All of a sudden, they started feeling themselves. So perhaps that's what it was here. It was a situation that they got punched in the mouth. I mean, right. I think this loss, there's a lot of things that compound that basically is the reason why the Celtics lost. And some fans are saying it's the officiating, regardless if it was officiating or not. I can't blame the officiating when my team couldn't even shoot 34% from the floor. I can't look at the refs and say that's their fault when we can't even score a bucket. That's just how I look at it. You know what I mean? So
right. So let me ask you this. So again, with Marcus Smart, are we monitoring his minutes, or are we giving him the full go and he's just going to go and play his game?
I'm gonna give him a minutes restriction. Matter of fact, what I would do, I would see how he is. I would let him go, right? Do the pre-workout stuff. If he so much as winces one time, you're only playing 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If you so much as limp one time, you're down to 15. You so much as utter the word "ow," you're a DNP. Because honestly, I'm playing it safe.
No, I know exactly. That's my point. Because what I'm saying is, a lot of times people will push it to the point where he could take a minor injury that if you rest it, maybe he comes back games 4 or 5, and then you try to push it too much, and then now he's out the entire series, and you don't see him until next year.
See,
which is kind of where Embiid is not at that point, but damn, a broken orbital socket. Not that you can't play with that. A broken thumb, not you can't play with that, but it does affect who he is as a player. And I'm sure we'll get into Embiid later on. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I think when you push too much, you actually really start ruining your star for over a longer period of time than just that short interim.
Because you're right. Because it is a risk. Because think about it. If he ends up going and then his injury is even worse, let's play the maybe game, right? And let's say the injury ends up being worse. It's like because if I'm mistaken, they said it was a quad. Let's say it's let's say it gets worse. We now lose him for the rest of the playoffs. Let's say we make it past the Bucks. Now we have to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, which if it's Miami, I'm not worried. Now, if it's Philly, I'm worried because you got Joel Embiid and you still got James Harden. You still got to respect them. And if Tobias Harris can still keep up the play he's having, that's going to be something. But, let's say we end up making the finals with no Marcus Smart. Whoever comes out of the West, it doesn't matter who comes out of the West. They have guards on that team you have to play.
Right.
Whether it's Dallas with Luka, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Jalen Brunson, whether it's the I almost said the Jazz, the Grizzlies with John Morant, Dylan Brooks, and Tyus Jones, who's the best backup in the league, right? You got those guys. You got Golden State, who you got Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole, and you got to throw Draymond in there because Draymond likes to orchestrate the offense, right? And then you got Phoenix. You got D-Book, Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. Like, whoever comes out of the West, we're going to need Marcus Smart for them. We're going to need it. No debate. We're going to have no choice. We're going to need that.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's like I'm 110%. I'm being cautious with him. You ain't going to see me force him. Like I said, he says out one time, sit down. And he goes, but. I go, nope. I don't but nothing. You're sitting down immediately. Because I'm not going to risk. Why am I going to sit here and risk your future for what? For this series? Because imagine if we let you play, it gets worse. You end up being like Tony Parker, you tear your quad. Now what? Now where do we go? Now what route do we take?
Right.
So again, then he's probably gonna get upset. And hey, it is what it is. But in all honesty, I'm playing it safe. 100%. I'm playing it safe, whether he likes it or not. Next game, Warriors at Grizzlies. Man, did you see this game?
I caught the tail end of it.
Oh, so you caught the best part. Oh my Lord.
But from everything that I saw watching on my phone, it was incredibly close.
It was a thriller, boy. So Warriors won 117-116. Grizzlies had the ball. John Morant basically ended up getting the ball. They inbounded it. He tries to go for a little scoop layup. misses it. Great defense from Golden State, namely Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Forces the miss to get them the win. 117 to 116. Even though they lost, isn't this kind of a morale booster? Because think about it. It literally came down to the final play. It came down to the last play.
Yeah, literally.
Like, don't you think that's kind of a morale booster for Memphis a little bit?
Well, here's why I struggle with this. Number one, they lost without Draymond Green.
That
after the first half.
Hilarious, by the way.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, if I'm the Grizzlies, I don't know. I mean, if I'm the Grizzlies, I'm thinking like, damn, I lost by a point. I probably could have won tonight. I probably really needed to win tonight, especially with them being short Draymond in the second half. I really needed this win just to kind of, number one, like you said, give me the good feeling going into game two. Because now in game two, they're going to have Draymond. Hopefully Draymond doesn't do stupid stuff and he can play the whole game. But if you can't even beat the Warriors when they're down Draymond, how are you going to beat them with Draymond?
So let me just address the elephant in the room. People are saying that Draymond shouldn't have gotten ejected for it. And I disagree. Because he's in the air, you grab the jersey and you pull him down.
That's a flagrant.
I'm going to put it to you this way. If Chris Paul does that same play, we're killing him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If Russell Westbrook is doing that play,
we're killing him.
We're killing him. Patrick Beverly,
we're murdering him.
So it's like, why is it that Draymond, like this is the same Draymond who's done stuff like this before. Let's not forget.
He's known for that.
Bro, like Nutgate. It was real, bro. This dude was out here kicking dudes in their nuts, bro. Like Steven Adams
He's a dirty guy. He's an old school Bill Laimbeer. He's just that old dirty plan type of guy. You know, hey,
right.
Whatever.
Right. So there's that. Now, because you said because they basically played the rest of the time. I think he got ejected in the second quarter.
Yeah, I was a second.
Yeah, so he ended up being out. Jordan Poole, by the way, phenomenal game, dropped a cool 31.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think this is gonna give them a lot of confidence because Jaren Jackson Jr. had a game. He dropped 33. John Morant had 34. Okay. Dylan Brooks didn't even have that good of a game. And I don't think Desmond Bane, he was all right. He was, I expected more from Desmond Bane. I really did. Maybe it's just
and he needed more from him.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? So I feel like John Morant was able to get his. He got a 34-point double-double with 10 assists. Jaren Jackson Jr., which Golden State does not have a lot of size. They don't. And the few guys that they have size are not that good.
Right.
So you need to get Jaren Jackson Jr. more involved. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing. They're going to get him.
We're going to have to.
Yeah, because think about it. And Jaren Jackson Jr., he's fast.
Here's my problem, Brian. Here's my problem, Brian. This is my problem. My problem is, and this is during the course of the regular season, and even people in ASAP were talking about how great Memphis was playing and this, that, and the other, and how they felt like they were going to match up well with Golden State, this, that. But, and they did. They went 3 for 4 against Golden State in the regular season. The problem with it was, and what people weren't really taking into consideration was that all 3 of those games, they didn't have all their stars available. They were playing a shorthanded Golden State team in all of their victories. So it really wasn't a true measurement of how well Memphis truly was against Golden State.
So what you're telling me, I want to make sure I hear it, is we got to give Golden State a little bit of a pass. Like not wipe it under the rug, but give them a little bit of the pass because they were hurt. If you have all of your top 3 guys and you're going up a healthy Memphis, because you can see, watch this, it without Draymond in the game, a healthy Memphis still put up 116 to 117 Warriors. So, I mean, you can see, though, how the Warriors had, for the most part, most of the healthy guys, they did lose Draymond in the second half, but you can see the difference.
I still think that they had a healthy Draymond, I don't think the score would have been quite this close. I think there would have been a little bit more of a gap in there. But kudos to Klay Thompson, number one, for getting the three-pointer with what was it, 46 seconds or something like that left. It was
he ripped that clean. Oh my God, he ripped that thing clean.
Yeah. And then he goes, and then John Morant, or was it John Morant that missed the 2 free throws? I know they missed free. No, it was Klay.
No. It was Klay.
Yeah, it was Klay Klay actually kept them in the game and gave them the opportunity with those 2 missed free throws. And then Ja, on the jump ball, Ja gets the damn ball and can't even hit and he gave, bro, it's a layup. Damn, come on now.
Yeah.
Game's on the line, Ja. MVP, right? MVP, Ja. Come on, you gotta hit that shit.
I know I was trolling. in the chat, but in my opinion, I think that was a bad shot.
The layup?
Yeah. Because you went for a scoop layup.
Yeah.
I would have said okay with it until you realize 2 other defenders collapse on Ja. And when you're getting triple team like that, that's usually why you don't wait too long to make your move. Because when he did that, again, that's just inexperience. When you get the ball and you do that, you're intentionally supposed to go up with a few seconds left. And the reason being, in case I go up and all of a sudden someone else collapses to help and I got someone else wide open, I now have an extra second to kick the ball out. I forgot who was in the corner. If John Morant goes a second earlier, so I think it was Steph who closed it on help defense and left this corner guy wide open. If Ja does it a second earlier, he sees the corner guy, swings it, and then they have an open 3. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, but that's just as time goes on type of thing. Because if it was vice versa, Golden State's doing that. Steph gets the ball, Steph is going up, and then if things end up collapsing or things go different or whatever, he looks and he tries to pass it to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, you know what's interesting to me though, Pride, is I look back on this, and if you go back to the 2015 series when these 2 teams matched up, it was Memphis with the older team and Golden State with the younger team. Of course, we know how that turned out. Now we got Memphis as the younger team, Golden State's the older team. So it's almost like a role reversal. And it's interesting to me that the adjustment that Steve Kerr made, putting Poole or starting Poole, or he started Payton over Poole to defend Morant. And I thought he did a pretty good job. Grizzlies were up 13 at the half with no Green for Golden State. So Memphis was looking good going into the second half. And of course, that's when kind of Golden State took over a little bit. But I mean, what did you feel? How did you feel about Payton being put on Morant? Was that a good move on Golden State's part?
I liked it because that's the thing. Like, Gary Payton is one of the ball stoppers they rely on.
Yeah.
So why would you go and put Jordan Poole out there to guard him? Especially when you see it. Okay, who's a better offensive threat right now? Jordan Poole or Gary Payton?
Better offensively would be Poole.
Offensively, right? So now when I see that, I'm like, all right, Poole can guard all the other guys. Gary Payton only has one job and one job only.
Not
you give him some points, fine, but your job is to defend him. That's your job.
Yeah.
You're running with him. Like, we're putting you on him. So now Jordan Poole has more energy to give us that 31 he dropped.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't mind that at all. Honestly, I thought it was a smart move. I really did.
So from your perspective, which is kind of at least what I'm thinking, I'm kind of sure it's what you already kind of alluded to it earlier, was I think that they're going to have to Memphis is going to have to make that adjustment of putting Jackson more out there, like you said, to give them the height at the rim, which I think Golden State would struggle at, like you said. And 2, Desmond Bane is going to have to step his game up.
He has to.
I think if they start Jackson more and Desmond Bane can step his game up and everybody else play at that same level that they gave in game 1, well, now we could be looking at, Memphis beating Golden State. They're going to have to do that if they want to take game 2 out of Golden State.
Yep, they're going to be.
Or excuse me, out of Memphis. I apologize.
Yep, no, you're good. Yeah. So real quick, before we move on to the next 2 games, I don't know if you heard about D-Hop. He's got suspended for 6 games for violating, basically for PEDs. Honestly, I'm not that surprised anymore.
Yeah.
Because now it makes sense on why they
win.
went so hard to go get Hollywood. Because when
Yeah.
they got Marquise Brown, I was like, what are you doing? Now it seems like they knew. Like they knew, like, all right, we just lost Christian Kirk to the Jags. Okay.
Right.
Now we got AJ Green, who's going to be a year older. And now D-Hop is out for six
Oh,
games.
hell no. That's an automatic. We'll be lucky if we're second to last in the division if you lose that.
Right. So it's like, so I think that's what it was. I think it was now, honestly, I don't know if you agree with me, Jay, but now that doesn't surprise me because all this does is make the Hollywood Brown trade. It just makes it make sense now.
Yeah, of course it does. Because at first, like you said, I was kind of with you. I was like, well, and the only thing that doesn't make sense on the Brown side was I thought they would have given Lamar Jackson a little bit more heads up on the Ravens side of it. But I mean, because that's your franchise quarterback. It seems like you want to talk to him, give him some sort of thought consideration on the process. But hey, so that just shows you where they were thinking there. But for the Cardinals, like you said, at first it didn't make sense with D-Hop, but now it does. So kudos to the Cardinals staying competitive.
Right. And then one more comment. There's an update on the tanking situation with the Browns. Turns out so far has been no evidence that the Browns paid or incentivized Hugh Jackson to throw games. They were straight up dog doo-doo. Yeah, but supposedly, now whether or not this is true, I don't know. Time will tell. Hugh Jackson said he actually has emails and text messages that he plans to send to the legal team that proves it.
Right.
Now, I don't know whether or not it's true. We're going to wait. But supposedly he said he's got legit evidence that he's going to send over, that he's still collecting all the emails and text messages and stuff like that, and he's going to send them over. So far there's none. I'm going to give it another week. And if we don't hear anything by another week, then
they're thinking like, nah.
Yeah, you would have to. You would have to. Because eventually, when you keep telling a guy, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring up the evidence, you keep telling
if you got it at the ready, you got it at the ready. You're not looking for it.
You're not waiting, right. You're gonna be like,
especially when it's that serious or that up to your career. Oh, trust me. Unless Hugh Jackson's a moron, which I don't think he is, he's got that stuff in a folder off to the side.
110%. The next two games, the series that's going to kick off today. So the very first one we're going to talk about. Oh man, this playoff basketball just gives me a headache, bro. And I love it so much. It gives me a headache. First game, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. The 76ers will travel to Miami to play the Heat. Jim McLovin, who you think wins tonight?
Man, so no Embiid, which means the pressure's going to fall all on Harden's shoulders. And no, I'm giving it to Miami. I think Miami is just going to be too much for not having Embiid out there. And the game is being played in Miami, correct? It's on Miami's home court. So Miami's got the home court. They don't have Embiid. And I'm just not a believer in Harden, man, especially with all the years in Houston. Harden's he's a number two because he doesn't have the leadership skills to be a number one, in my opinion.
Okay.
So because of that, I think it's just going to be too much for him, and I think he's gonna play okay, but he's not going to play Harden-esque. And Miami takes it, man. I think Miami just with Butler and Hero and Adebayo and because now we got Lowry back too, correct?
Nope, they actually don't. No, they don't. They don't.
He's still out right now.
Yeah, so he's missing game 1 too.
Okay.
Yeah, he's missing game 1 too with his hamstring injury. So
I don't like Miami, but I do think that they're going to have the better squad tonight. I don't see Sixers taking tonight.
So I disagree, actually.
Okay.
And this is why. I think heading into this game, they're going to see Joel Embiid's out. I think that's going to make Miami big-headed. I think James Harden, I think we both agree with James Harden having a respectable game. It won't be anything crazy, but I think it'll be respectable. Something solid. I think Tyrese Maxey's Tyrese Maxey balls the fuck out.
He's gonna have to.
I think I think he does.
And Harris is gonna have to pick up some slack too in there as well.
Yeah,
all three of them are gonna have to really play their roles.
And I think they do. I think I don't know. Something tells me that this game, I don't know. But granted, I do not trust Miami. I don't trust the Miami Heat. I don't think they're a legit championship team. I have no faith in them whatsoever. So it's like, for me, and I think I told you this when I was on your show, Jay. For me, this is just the battle of the untrustables.
Yeah, you did.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
without Philly, I'm not 100% confident in this Philadelphia team without Embiid. But even fully healthy, I don't trust Miami either.
Right.
So I can see this literally going a 7-game series where it's just because they keep shooting themselves in the foot. Now, I do have Philly winning the series. And the reason why I think the first two games at Miami, they split them. I think game 3, Joel Embiid comes back. I don't think they care about his orbital fracture. I don't think they care about his thumb. They're waiting for him to pass the concussion protocol.
Concussion. That's really what's holding him out is a concussion.
And because if he didn't have the concussion,
that's what holds anybody out. Because you can slap a mask on something, you can slap a splint on something, but concussion in the brain, you have to give it time.
Exactly. So that's why I think game 3, maybe 4, Embiid comes back. And again, if you thought Golden State had no size, Miami,
and that is a downside to Miami is size.
Yeah, like come on, but like bro, like if the biggest guy in your roster is Udonis Haslem, who's like 59 years old,
who doesn't even play anymore, he's just a glorified bench coach.
That's all.
I don't understand why he puts on a jersey anymore. Why don't they just give him a damn bench coach position or coaching position?
So they put him there just in case he has to play. If someone gets in foul trouble, ejections, whatever the case may be. Because there've been a few times this year.
So deep, man. That
I know. But there've been, believe it or not, there have been games this year that he's actually had to go out there, and it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's the funniest thing. Miami has to go even slower. Like Miami is already a slow team. They're already a slow team, right? Which is weird because you got one of the smallest lineups in the league. Yet you guys play like big men, but whatever, right? They're already a slow team. With Udonis Haslem, the Miami Heat is going backwards. Literally.
Yeah.
They have no speed.
That's like seriously going way back to Uncle Drew. That's beyond Uncle Drew, man.
Dude, it is hilarious, dude. It really is. But now, to me, I don't trust either team. But if you're gonna ask me who do I trust more, I would rather. I'm trusting Philly a little more. I really am.
Hey, but you know what? You know who I think gives the Celtics issues is going to be PJ Tucker. I like PJ, man. He's that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy that plays good defense, and he gives your team that Jay Crowder, junkyard dog, tough man mentality. You know what I'm saying? I just think he's that guy. He's that leader in that respect.
I promise you, Jason Tatum's averaging 50 on him. I promise you, Jaylen Brown might average 45. Marcus Smart is averaging 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the worst player?
We haven't got to the Celtics. Damn it, we're talking about the Sixers right now. They got to get past the Sixers to even think about seeing a Marcus Smart, and y'all got to get past the Bucks. Let's not get there quite yet.
Well, listen, man. Like I said, I still think we can. I do think there's adjustments that needs to be made. Hopefully, we do make them. But for Sixers and 76ers and Heat, I got Philly game 1. I really do. I don't know. I just feel like right now, I think if the Sixers want any hope to win the series, they have to split these 2 games. And I think game 1 is their best chance.
Right.
Because, again, Miami has no idea what they're going to do. Exactly. But Miami has no idea what series. Right. And not only that, Miami doesn't know what you're going to do without Embiid. So game 1, you can catch them with their pants down, no pun intended, and like end up, doing some new stuff.
Yeah, if you catch someone game 1 with no Embiid and you slap them in the mouth, that's gonna mess with their confidence going into game 2, or even going into game 3 when you do got to face Embiid.
Exactly. So it's like, because
I get that.
Because imagine if Joel Embiid comes back game 3 and it's 1-1.
Oh, it's game over if that's
bro. There's going to be zero pressure on Embiid.
Absolutely.
So all he's got to do is just play ball.
Right.
That's all he's got to do.
Question though, I got a question for you. I might catch smoke. I might not catch smoke.
Let me hear it.
I think that what's that dude's name? I always miss his name. The coach for Miami.
Oh, Eric Spoelstra.
I think Spoelstra is a better coach than Doc.
I don't think so. I
think he does. I think he makes better decision making or better adjustments than Doc Rivers does.
You know why I think a lot of people say that? I think right now we're a lot of our vision is clouded because of that 3-1 lead from Doc. The last one with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Combined with that.
Remember, yeah.
I think that's what's kind of clouding people's perception.
So you still think that you do think that Doc is better than Spoelstra though?
Easily.
Okay.
To me, it's not even close.
Yeah.
I think Doc. The only thing Eric Spoelstra does better is handle adversity. But even then, I don't even think the difference is that massive.
Well, I think he handles adversity, but I also think he can also handle personalities as well. I mean, let's be honest. He has taken a team when James and all of them left. He was obviously Pat Riley. I'm not trying to think anything with Pat Riley building his team, but at the same time, he has coached a team that was LeBronless and got them back into the Western or the finals, and he has gotten them back into. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, the guy you got to give him some kind of credit for doing what he's done with what he's had.
No, right. I'll give him some credit, but I'm not gonna go out here and.
I mean, look at Doc. Doc's had all this damn talent, and yet he's blown freaking leads. He's only got one championship with the Celtics.
And here's the thing, and I'll say this to my dying breath: Eric Spoelstra with any of those teams doesn't get a ring. Period.
Yeah.
If you put today's Eric Spoelstra with that 08 Celtics, we're getting bounced in the first round. You put that Eric Spoelstra with the Clippers, he's getting fired before they get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You put him on the Magic. If you put him on the Magic with that team, they're not even in a 3-1 position. They're getting swept.
So let me ask you this: so based on what you're saying, if Miami does find a way to get past the Sixers, would you then give more credit to Spoelstra over Doc?
Well, it depends on how they did it.
Well,
If it came to like a nitty gritty, and it really just it went between two coaches, right. having a little, who can come up with better adjustments. I could say he made the better adjustments, but overall coach, I can't say that, because again, we can't pretend Doc Rivers is a bad coach. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think either one of them, honestly, is a bad coach. I'm just trying to figure out, which one is the better between the two, given their track records.
I'm taking me personally. I'm taking Doc.
Okay.
I'm taking Doc, because all I know is this Eric Spoelstra, before LeBron got there, didn't make the playoffs.
So let me ask you this: 3 blown 3-1 leads. You don't think that doesn't carry any weight against him, though? I'm just asking for a friend.
Some. So let's look at those each 3-1 blown.
Yeah, right. I'm with you.
So the Orlando one, we need to remember that Orlando 3-1 blown lead. They were the 8th seed.
Right.
They were the 8th seed. And before people say it was Doc Rivers, answer me this question. Go tell me what Tracy McGrady did. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Hey, I'm just asking the question.
They're up 3-1. Tracy McGrady's like,
wow, you did give some really good TED Talks.
Yo, he was like, Tracy McGrady, right? It was Raul. This is just Tracy McGrady. Matt to the media. This is him. Swear to God, Jay McLovin. This is him to the media. It's going to be so great to get out of the first round, man. We up 3-1. It's amazing. Boom. All of a sudden, my guy just forgot how to play basketball.
Yeah.
So then
you remember T-Mac did play for Houston for a while, so I'm familiar with T-Mac.
Right. And by the way, do you know who that Orlando team lost to?
Oh, God.
They lost to the Pistons.
Yes, it was the Pistons.
The same Pistons who what?
Yeah.
Won the championship.
Yeah.
So they lost to a championship caliber team.
Right. That Richard Hamilton was the bomb back then.
So again, if you want to put some blame on him, fine. Let's not pretend it's like the greatest thing of all time, right? Then the Clippers, the first one. Straight up injury city. That's just the reality of the situation. You have like his best player was his son, who nobody liked because they just thought that he only got on the team because he was his son. That's it.
Right.
That was who he was going to war with.
Also, Rivers isn't bad, but he's not the guy.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll never
As
be
the guy. That's what I'm saying.
He's just a really good bench player. Honestly, Rivers is just a good bench player.
He's a solid rotational guy. No, I'm not going to say he can't ball. But to be in the starting lineup, that's not him.
No, absolutely not.
That's not him.
If he was in my starting lineup, I'm packing my bags and going home.
That's what Doc Rivers had to work with.
Yeah, I get it. I get that.
That third one against the Nuggets, that one is unexcusable. That one I have to hold him accountable for, because that was right there is when he basically crossed his arms and pouted and basically was like, you guys figure it out. So that's why I blame him for that one. If you're talking about that Nuggets one, I'm not debating you. I'm not arguing you, because that Nuggets one, Doc Rivers definitely has to wear it. But when people say, oh, yeah, he chokes 3-1 leads, I think you need to put some context in it, because people are pretending he's like a number 1 seed or number 2 seed losing to a 7th or 8th seeded team. People are trying to make it seem like he had the best players and he had the best team and they were fully healthy and they were losing to bums. Like, nah, bro. Like again, outside of that second Clippers one, his last stint with the Clippers, I'm talking about outside of that, you could have some, there's an explanation for it. But like I said, that last one with the Clippers against the Nuggets, unexcusable, and I will never defend him for that one. I will never in my life defend him, period. So I just want to clarify and make sure we're all good here. I'm not gonna. Doc chokes on Lee's the same way Riley Reid chokes on. I'll stop. I cannot stand you. No, it's not that bad. All I'm saying.
I love that. Hey, that's a good comment. I like that one.
I'm talking about outside of the Nuggets one. It's not that bad. Outside, it's not that bad. I can't stand you. Next one. Final one. Mavs and Suns. This is why I hate playoff basketball. Jay McLevin, this game tips off at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Dog. Yeah. Basketball, why doth thou insult me? So I was on your show, and I believe I said, by the way, John Boy, what it do, baby? I believe I said, I think the Suns sweep the Mavs. I think I said that.
Yeah, I believe you did say that.
Am I allowed to take that back?
Yeah, because they haven't started playing yet.
Okay, so I'm going to take that back. I got the Suns in 5.
So now you're saying that the Mavericks will take a game.
Yes.
Okay.
I got the Suns in 5. I think in Dallas, Luka has the Luka magic, right? He does his thing, and I think he gets them 1. I think he gets them 1.
You know what's interesting to me is the fact that, what's interesting about this series, and a lot of people really aren't talking about it, but I wonder how much fuel or how much motivation Luka is going into this game, considering that in 2018, the Suns with the first pick took Ayton and not him.
Well,
you got to imagine, there's got to be, I don't know, maybe Luka doesn't look like this, but I don't know. Let me ask you, well, before I even go that far, do you think the Suns regret taking Ayton over Luka?
No way.
So Ayton was still the right one. Ayton was still the right one to go at number 1, even though Luka is damn near the face of the NBA or getting close to being the face of the NBA.
And I'm gonna tell you why. And this is how I would be. This is what I would do if I'm a GM.
Right.
If in the draft, I look at the team I got. If the best player in the league on my draft board is a center, and I have Nikola Jokic, I'm not picking that center. I don't care who the best player is in the draft. If I have something at that same position, why would I waste that pick instead of going elsewhere and looking at a different position?
But they didn't have Ayton at the time, though. That's the thing.
Right, but they had Book.
Oh,
They
that's
had
right.
Devin
Yeah,
Booker.
I got it. That's
So-
right. That's right.
But
That's
that's
right.
what I'm saying. With Devin Booker, he was going to be the guy with the ball in his hands. So why
Yeah.
would you go get Luka when you needed a big man to pair Devin Booker up with?
But would you? Let me ask you this: would
You know?
you trade back maybe one or two spots, or maybe trade back one spot and see if Ayton? I don't know. I mean,
Would he have fallen there? Sure.
maybe they felt like Ayton was going to be there. Maybe they felt like the team. I forget who was drafted at number 2. I think it was the Sacramento Kings. Which that wasn't because they took Marcus Bagley or something like that. The third. Which by the way,
Bagley,
Sacramento, you're idiots for passing up on Doc on that one. But yeah, maybe they felt like Sacramento would grab Ayton. Maybe that's why they just said to go ahead and take him now rather than trade back one spot or whatever.
So here's my thing on that. Because I believe I'm trying to. Okay, so here's the odd thing about it. Like, because we're saying we're talking about how the Suns passed up on Ayton. We forgot how Luka got to Dallas because the Atlanta Hawks is the one who originally traded him.
Right.
And then they drafted him, and then they traded with Dallas.
That's right. They did.
So if anything, if I'm him, I would be more mad at
the Hawks,
Atlanta, to be honest, right? But
I forgot about that. Right, that's true. That's true.
Right?
Oh.
And here's my thing with Atlanta. Not Atlanta, but DeAndre Ayton. Me personally, I look at what happened. Like me, and you're saying should they have went back? The problem with doing that is if you have the number 1 pick, I'm not going to trade you. The number 1 pick for the number 3rd pick straight up.
Right.
You need something else to
incentivize it.
Exactly. So that way, let's say I go back to, let's say the Orlando Magic calls me, right? Because they had the 6th pick. And let's say Orlando goes, hey, let's make a trade, whatever. And let's say I then drop the 6. I need something to incentivize me. Is that, okay, look, this is the guy we wanted. We can't get him. Sucks. But look at what else we got. I'm okay with risking it. Because we still have this. I think it was that type of situation. Some teams did approach Phoenix for that number 1 pick, but they never took it serious. Phoenix never took it serious because the draft packages that they were giving them wasn't worth anything. It wasn't worth risking it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
you know what's interesting else about this series, though? There's another storyline about this series, and I know you've seen it, is how they're talking about Doncic possibly having the ability to pass Jordan on the all-time playoff points average points.
Yes.
So I think Jordan's at 33.4 and Luka's at 32.7. Of course, obviously, let's keep it in perspective. Jordan averaged that over a much longer period of time in terms. As a matter of fact, I think it was I thought I had it written down. So 179 games Jordan averaged that. So it's not really fair to compare Luka at this point to Jordan, but at the same time, it is kind of interesting to see if he is able to get past that 33-point threshold.
I don't think it's really people comparing him. I just think it's when you do something that's that impressive and you're able to look. We all know, me personally, I think LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, right? And for me, in my opinion, I think there's only 3 legitimate answers you can have as the greatest. If it's not LeBron James, I'll accept Michael Jordan. And if it's not Michael Jordan, I'll accept Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Those, in my opinion, are the only 3. If you can be in any way, in any positive light, if you can be mentioned in the same sentence as those guys, that's impressive.
That is impressive.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
granted,
that's really impressive.
He ain't averaged it as long as MJ, but man, just imagine Luka Doncic and Michael Jordan. Just imagine those 2 in the same sentence. That, you know what I mean? Like,
it's pretty. I guess that, but at the end of the day, though,
because you're using the past to build your future. You know, what I mean? Everyone knows MJ, right? So you're using his name to make people, hey, yo, Luka, just in case you don't like him, look at him.
Yeah.
You know?
And and the thing about it is, what I feel like, obviously, look, the Suns are going to beat the Mavs. It's just they just don't. They don't match up the same. And it's just the Phoenix has the more talent, the better coach, whatever. Yeah. But what I'm wondering from the Mavs perspective, when I want to look at this, is they've been doing the same thing, right? And now they're getting ready to they finally kind of got a number 2 guy in Brunson, but now they're going to let go of Brunson because they probably don't want to pay him. Are the Mavericks ever going to be able to put a team around Luka that can get to where, let's say, a Devin Booker Suns are? I mean, at this point.
Well, they have no choice. They're going to have to.
But it seems like they're not really.
I think they bring back Brunson.
They have to.
You would have to. You almost don't have a choice.
And that's the thing, because Mark Cuban, in my opinion, is one of the smartest businessmen out there. He just that guy touches just turns to gold. He's not stupid, and he's a really active manager. And he does. I just got to think at some point he's got to look at this team and be like, okay, we got to stop letting the good pieces go and let the like Porzingis. I mean, it was good they letting Porzingis go because I just didn't think he was ever going to be the right guy. But they really got to start building more continuity. And Brunson is a good one, too, with Luka. And then I think you kind of build from there.
Right. So I agree with you. I think Brunson has to be the guy. They're going to have to build a little something around Luka because I understand they signed him to that big deal. But the problem is that contract runs out. And if I ain't mistaken, I think it runs out right before he hits his prime.
Yeah, it does.
So it's like you if anything – you only kept him there long enough for him to hit his best elsewhere. So they're gonna have to, bro. But yeah, 10 o'clock, man. I am not sleeping at all tonight. I'm telling you, I am not.
So what do you do, Pride? Do you just hit the record button and watch it in the morning?
No. I watch every game live.
Yeah,
every game live. I have to, because if I don't, because especially when it comes to basketball. Like with it being a game every other day, I can't keep up with it like that.
Yeah.
Like if I try to
because you're like, I can't keep watching all these games.
Because the thing is, like first is like Raw. That's easy. Like Raw and SmackDown, that's fine because that's once a week, right? So I can do it on Monday. There's no Raw on Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can do that. And same thing with SmackDown. You know what I mean? So wrestling, it's a little easier to manage it. You know?
Right.
Because it's at most twice a week. But when you're doing basketball, baseball. Even
no, you can't do baseball, man. There's just too many games, too many. That'd be baseball would be really difficult,
dude. I can't, bro. I pick certain teams and I watch it, and because it's tough. And you can agree, I watch every game live, 100%. Because, like I said, wrestling is the one I can one exception where I'll record it or that's the one exception. After that, if I missed it, I missed it. I miss you. That's it. Oh, by the way, Pride, you do NHL. Listen, I'm very casual when it comes to NHL. I will admit that to my dying breath.
Hey, casual meaning he might watch every blue moon.
You listen. You will never catch me trying to talk about hockey. I'm trying to learn it and get into it so that way I can incorporate it into the show. I'll be honest, I still got a ways to go. I'm trying though. So I don't want to come up here and pretend I know what I'm talking about. And then you know what I mean? Like I say,
hey, the way to say it is Price said 2031 we'll start debuting hockey.
31. Oh my God. I can't stand you. Next and final topic of the day. Told y'all we're going to talk some MLB. It's very early in the season. However, I want to be dramatic. I like being dramatic. I love it. It's what I thrive on. Jay McLevin, there are 3 teams I'm thinking about right now. You obviously know them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna spit them to you. You're gonna let me know whether or not these individual teams should panic or if they should just namaste, relax, and things will be fine. First and foremost, the Philadelphia Phillies, 11-12. They currently okay, so in the NL East, they are currently 3rd. What are you panicking or are you telling them to relax?
With Phillies, I'm not gonna panic, but I would say I'm mildly concerned. I'm mildly concerned because of Schwarber batting 200 and Harper batting 253. The team's whole batting average is about a modest 244 with 198 strikeouts. So offensively, I think is where I'm mostly worried. The team's ERA is right at about 4.1, 1-0. So I think the pitching is okay, but man, they're hitting. And I think that just comes with time. I mean, I think they're kind of in a funk right now, but they're only 5 games back. and and I think the Braves are just underneath them. As a matter of fact, I don't think I'm quite hitting the panic button yet, only because it's early in the season. But come All-Star break, if it's still 5 or more games back, I'm gonna start. And they're still batting around the 200. Yeah, I'm panicking. Or by the trade deadline, I'm probably panicking.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, like you said, Kyle Schwarber, he's supposed to be one of the most prolific bats. He's at 200, so I would be concerned. But another guy I would be concerned with too, Bryce Harper, 253. Yeah. Like that's kind of average.
For him, that's average.
For him.
This is what you're paying him. I'm paying you all this money. You only give me 253?
Right. Like, exactly.
Yeah. I can go get any generic dude out there, pay him a fraction of what I'm giving you and still get that same result.
Bro, I mean, look at Rhys Hoskins, their first baseman. He's at a 301 right now.
Yeah. That's my point. I'm paying you the money, but you gotta give me the goods.
Oh, no, I lied. Rhys Hoskins is another one at 200.
I didn't see Rhys Hoskins at an average, but I was going with what you said.
Yeah, no, I'm wrong. Yeah, no, Rhys Hoskins is actually at a 200, which is another shame. Actually, no, I disagree. I'm panicking. Oh, yeah, I'm panicking.
Yeah, like I said, hey, their team's batting average as a whole is 244.
Especially when you think about it. Listen, they got Nick Castellanos, right? So everyone's going to be like, Bryce Harper's going to lead off. Then you got, everyone was wondering, how are you going to put these 4 hitters? You got Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, and Kyle Schwarber, right?
Yeah.
Whoever you put out there, you know they're going to be able to make content.
So are you starting to look at changing up the rotation?
I would. I would start staggering them. I would. You got to do something.
Yeah.
You got to do something. You have to. And you brought in Kyle Schwarber to be the guy, so you can't bench him.
Exactly.
You can't bench him just yet.
Matter of fact, Bryce Harper was ecstatic when they brought in Schwarber. He's like, this is the piece. This is the piece that we need. I remember them talking about it. But then they fall, and they're like 1 game under 5.
Yep. And again, and to your point, by the way, Kyle Schwarber, batting 200, he's got 7 home runs. Not bad. The next highest person is Bryce with 4. Everyone else is kind of like 3, 2, and 1. So I'm okay. I'll meet you in the middle. I'm not pressing the panic button, but the glass case is up and my hand is hovering over it.
Oh, absolutely.
I won't panic just yet, but I'm kind of watching that big red button and like I might have to push it. But moving on to their division cohort, the team that they're barely over right now, the Atlanta Braves, 10-13. Jay McLovin, how you feeling?
Now, this is where we start. We're not panicking yet, but we are damn sure concerned. More than I am for the Phillies. And I'll tell you why. Because the Braves right now are 10-13, and they are 6 games back. And they got a team batting average of 227 with 207 strikeouts. Morton is where I'm really kind of concerned. His ERA has ballooned up to 7, and that's your main pitcher. And he's throwing a 7.0 ERA. Your team ERA is at right at about 4.28, and your closer's ERA is at 3. So if my closer sucks, and my number 1 pitcher sucks, and my ERA and my batting average sucks, I don't know, man. You know what? The team next is where I'm severely panicking. But this one, I got to be honest with you, I almost got Parkinson's trying to hit the button.
I'm with you. For Atlanta, I'm freaking out right now. Now, the only bright spot they have right now is Matt Olson, which, you traded for him. And listen.
Oh, by the way, this is your World Series team last year.
Right. Again, 290. His last line is 291, 291, 392, 465. Very solid on base percentage. Very respectable of 857. So I do like him. Where I get scared for this team, what really puts genuine fear in my heart, their run differential.
Yeah.
For me, I always say this. You can find out a lot by a team by figuring out which one gets it to triple digits first. Runs scored or runs allowed.
Right.
Right now, they scored 89 runs. That's like for all the game. They've given up 103. So that's a run differential of a minus 14. Do you know where they're on par with? They're on par with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're on par with the Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers.
Now here's
minus 14
thing, though. But here's a question. Now here's the question I want to keep in mind, because I know last year the Braves weren't looking great at the beginning of the season either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest. Nobody was thinking Braves and World Series in the same sentence before the All-Star break or even at the trade deadline or any of that.
Right.
So what I'm kind of curious is, is this just the way that they start the season off and then they get better as it goes along? I don't know. That's why I don't want to hit the panic button just yet, because they got the World Series and they started off like shit last year. So I don't know if it's really time to hit the panic button too soon or too premature without really giving them a rest. I don't know, man. It's hard to say.
Well, here's my thing. So last year, I wouldn't call them shit. I would call them mediocre, because I think heading into the All-Star break, they were 500?
I think they might have been right at about 5.
Yeah, they were
like I said, they're only 3 games under 5 right now.
Right, but my concern really is you're not going to be able to repeat that magic without one of your heart and soul guys there. See, the problem was when they lost Ronald Acuna Jr., Freddie Freeman rallied these guys. He was able to rally everybody.
And you don't have him anymore.
Right, you don't have him.
Now you got Olsen.
Think about it. Now your next heart and soul guy is Ronald Acuna Jr., who he himself is coming back from ACL, from that torn ACL he had. And he's not – listen, he's played in 3 games, got 13 at-bats, only got 2 hits. Now, granted, he's going to have to ease himself back into it. So with him, sure, you're patient. But the thing is, man, when you're a guy that's coming off an injury, it's hard for you to root on other guys because you're trying to worry about yourself. You need to make sure you're confident with yourself. So to be honest, man, this year, I don't think they can do. I think they can make maybe a playoff push. Maybe. I personally think that's a stretch. But not only this, bro, the pitching. Like you said, man, your number 1 is playing horrible. And the couple times your starters can give you good outings, your bullpen chokes it. They're in top 5 and blown saves.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I think there's way too much. In my opinion, I think there's too much you got to fix to do it.
Well, absolutely. And I agree with you. I just, like I said, for right now, I think the glass case is definitely up and the hand is hovering, and maybe I got a little bit of Parkinson's in there. So,
yeah. All right, so the last one, the greatest team in the MLB, greatest organization ever, the Boston Red Sox, 9-14. I'm ready. Depression. Currently, at a whopping 9-14, by the way, we did all that to get Trevor Story. We are one of 2 teams in the AL East under 500, the other team being Baltimore. Half a game above them, so we're not Baltimore just yet.
You're not at Baltimore. When you get the Baltimore status, oh my land, or I guess I should say, you know what's worse than Baltimore this year is when you get to the Cincinnati Reds status.
Bro, Cincinnati looks like a joke of a and ready to the funny part.
Wow. You know what though? But they did get rid of a lot of players. Cincy got rid of a lot of players though. They had but that far down?
I thought Oakland was gonna be like that. Because
Me
the
too.
stingy owner and stuff like that. And I blinked and I'm like, wait a minute, Oakland is actually 10-12?
Yeah.
What?
Because I really thought Oakland was gonna be down there too.
Forget them. Yo, have you seen Miami?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Miami is 12-9 and Cincinnati can't even count to 5?
Yeah.
What is going on, bro? But it's a testament.
And then I got Seattle doing what they're doing. Whatever. And then I got the freaking Angels. The Angels are at the top of our division. And I'm like, what the hell happened?
Where did that come from, right? It's kind of funny, too. It's kind of funny how we see all that stuff. And we're kind of shocked. But like you said, not only did they let go of a lot of people, their best hitter is who? Probably an old Joey Votto.
Yeah.
So once you start rocking with an older Joey Votto, who's just not it anymore.
Yeah, you're done. You're cooked.
I'm about
I look at this Red Sox team, And like you said, they're about 7.5 games back. But man, and this is where I'm panicking. I'm panicking because it's not like they're in a weaker division. Like if this team was in like the same division as the Astros were in, I wouldn't be panicking because they're okay. Listen, the Angels are my top team. We'll get there. We just got to go through a few storms.
Or even, maybe even
the Toronto.
Yeah,
the Yankees is what the Yankees are playing right now. We're in my division.
And I was gonna say, even if it's not the West, if it's the AL Central, yeah, the Minnesota Twins are 13-9. Everyone else under them, the Guardians 10-12, White Sox 9-13, Detroit Tigers and Kansas City Royals 7-14.
Right,
like you know what I mean. If you take,
I wouldn't be panicking because I know I got time.
Right.
I just gotta make a few. Maybe the trade deadline, I make a few adjustments or whatever, or maybe I call up some players and see what I can get. But there's a lot of things you can do between then and the All-Star break that you can right the ship against that type of division. But the division you're in, you can't do that. The teams are just too fucking good to do that against. So if I am the Red Sox and I got 182 strikeouts and a 229 team batting average and Story is 217, and my team's ERA is not too shabby at 3.59, but my offense is more anemic than a child coming out of Cambodia who hasn't been fed in 6 weeks.
And ready, the funny part, our pitching should have been the anemic thing.
Yeah.
That's the part that blows my mind. Our pitching should have been what was the problem.
Yeah.
And like you said, like looking at it, like for instance, like right now, in terms of our ERA, Evaldi, which by the way, I love Evaldi, 251. Michael Wacha, in 4 games, he's got about 20 innings pitched, 177. Solid, right? Garrett Whitlock.
I got the answer for the Boston Sox. If you're willing to endure the embarrassment of hopefully not being stupid enough to get caught, break out the cell phone again.
Can I be honest though?
Just break out the cell phone, Pride.
Nah, bro, I can't.
I'm kidding, of course, but I'm just saying.
Nah, maybe we should. Nah, we should cheat. Let's get that cheat. But you wonder what the real problem is? Obviously, because you like Lynn, Trevor Story hitting 217. That's bad, right? Especially
it is. That's terrible.
But you know what else scares me a lot? And this is why I'm hitting the panic button. Both Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts are going to be free agents after this year.
Yeah, they are. Matter of fact, they brought in Story in case Bogaerts did leave. They can slide him over to his natural position of shortstop.
At short. And the sad part about it is I think Bogaerts leaves after this year. And I think Devers leaves too.
Yeah, I think where's that going to leave you?
And that's why I'm hitting the panic button because I think.
How's your farm team look? How's Boston's farm system looking?
We got a solid farm system. It's okay. It's nothing really to brag about. I like it ish. I know we did trade a few young guys at some positions considering we kind of had some talent. Like I said, I think our farm is okay. The problem is I think it's Jeter Downs. I think he plays shortstop or second.
Right.
I think he plays second. He basically was supposed to be if Bogaerts were to ever leave, he's kind of the guy who would take over, be our infield heart and soul guy or whatever. And the fact that we had to go get Trevor Story scares me. Scares me a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm on the same page as what you're saying.
Scares me a little bit.
I'm just looking at all of their individual batting average and statisticals. Yeah, man, Story is just
horrible.
He's just having a rough one. He really is. And that was supposed to and I look at Bogaerts. Bogaerts is hitting. What's Bogaerts hitting? Bogaerts actually hit 369.
Yeah, 369. Dude, this is
Bogaerts is actually balling. Devers is hit right at 299.
Which is great, still great.
Verdugo's right at 238. Your boy Dahlback, oh my God, he's hitting 147.
But I will say this about Bobby Dahlback. Remember, he kind of started slow last year too. He started slow and started picking it up.
Hell, even JD's hitting at 305.
And that's the thing. Like the problem is, our outside of Trevor Story, our best bats are doing their job. The only good bat we have in the lineup that's not doing their job is Kike Hernandez.
Yeah.
He's the only good bat in our lineup that's not doing anything. The problem, we can get on base. We can get on base. That's
You
not
just can't get him home.
The problem is scoring. That is where all of a sudden we forget that you swing the bat to hit the ball.
Right.
What a time to be alive, man.
Hey, man, I'm there with you, man. It's not like my Astros are. Man, you know, the Astros should be, in my opinion, they should be. With this, at least in this division, we should be in first. And here we are, sitting down in third.
I'm telling you right now.
Like I said, our two best bats are on the DL right now, but still, man, come on, man.
You know
Next man up. Shit, let's go.
I'm still riding with the Boston Celtics because guess what? Or the Boston Red Sox. Because the Celtics did the same thing and they turned it around. And I was screaming the whole time. Jay, you heard me. If you ride with your team, you got bragging rights for life.
Yeah.
I'm going to ride with the Boston Celtics.
You have to.
I'm going to ride with them. Because when we turn it around, we're going to be happy. Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers, don't go nowhere. Please don't, because then I'll be mad. I'm going to be like Yuki. I'm going to be like Yuki when Debo left. Nah, because Yuki's a Niners fan. And when Debo left, he started saying how Debo's trash and he's not a good receiver anymore. I'm going to be like that with Xander Bogaerts. He's trash. He was never good. I was like that for Mookie Betts. When Mookie left, I was like, he's trash. I was like, he's a horrible player. And like, I didn't really mean it. I was just upset. I was in my feelings.
Saying things you didn't mean.
100%. I didn't mean it. But this has been the Prideful Takes podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Prideful Takes. If there's any news you guys want us to talk about, feel free to tag us. Catch us on Facebook at Prideful Takes and also on YouTube at Prideful Takes. Visit our website, www.pridefultakes.com. Not only is every episode of the podcast up there, but we also have original articles. And check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you have an iPhone, just say, hey Siri, play the Prideful Takes podcast. She'll take care of the rest. As always, go to www.fatco.com. Use discount code Prideful Takes. Get 15% off all your organic skin care needs. Jay McLovin, where can the people find you?
Hey, you can find us on right now. We're under the ASAP network under Unscripted. Tuesdays, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can also find us on YouTube, Unscripted, and Facebook, Unscripted. And those are all the places. And I think I'm going to really try to get that 15% off skincare because, man, my skin has been kind of rough here lately. So,
bro, go ahead and use it.
I might check that out at Fatco.
Bro, you honestly consider it, bro. Because honestly, like they sent me like a little trial thing. It feels nice. They got deodorant, like they got stuff for men, women, and babies, bro. They got lip balm, they got lotion, they got deodorant, they got a lot of stuff. And it's
bro, man, I get this 50-year-old skin, man. I hope they can bring it back to life. I haven't seen my youthfulness since 1999. Youthfulness.
But it's been your boy Pride. On behalf of Jay McLovin, I'll be back here on Wednesday. Jay, thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Until then, we'll see you guys later. Be safe.
Knew where that was going. That was a great read. Oh, Lillard from the logo. That'll quiet the
2 on the season. 2nd and 1 for the Bills. They handle the rush. Allen looking. End zone!
To Shohei Ohtani. Center field. Let's watch it go. Did several of those inside low kicks.